Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chilling with Sasquatch, where I have brought a guest, a new channel, an old friend, and we're going to get to know everybody together all at the same time. And later, after we're all done with this silliness, I'm going to attempt to film some Assassin's Creed Valhalla from the very beginning um, while we further chat, mainly so that I can use it later on an audiobook recording I'm planning on doing myself, if at all possible. We will see. So, Ozark Yeoman, how are you doing, brother? Are you capable of speaking currently?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much for having me on.
Fantastic. All right, man. Good to see you, brother. So, you had a little bit of an issue with your channel recently, right?
Yes, yeah. Our old friend Susan Wickwicki didn't like me apparently quoting the news, and so yep, I got the boot.
Yep, that happens. Okay, so you're back with a brand new channel, right?
Yes,
Are you
same name, new channel.
right? They can search you right up. I've got you linked in the at that pinned in the link at the top. And I got a question for you before we even get started too far. Are you the big spoon or the little spoon?
Well, I think I'm the only spoon.
Oh,
I
that's
think that's the problem. I'm the spoon that got caught in the weird angle when you were trying to close the drawer,
oh,
and now
you're
you're really mad.
you're like assume the crash position type spoon.
Yeah, I'm the disruptor spoon.
That's pretty good. The one that don't fit. All right, I guess that makes sense. I might be one of those. I'm a little spoon. I'm almost always the little spoon. Everybody always wants to crowd up on my back. I can't help it. They just do that. I'm really, really
Well,
warm, fuzzy.
I was gonna say that's a Sasquatch fur, man. It's just warm.
I can't help it, man. That's just the way it works. It even happens in clubs sometimes. Folks will be like, just ease up. I'm like, dude, come on now. Hold up. You gonna buy me a drink first? I mean, maybe a little something. You know, peck on the cheek, something. Maybe give me a tip. Look both ways for crossing the road. Something. I don't know. All right. So, are you going to continue doing kind of the same political bent that you were going at, or has this changed your taste in content at all?
Well, I think what I'm gonna do, I was already doing this anyway with my channel. I'm working more toward like just the philosophy that I see people not talking about that's very important to whatever the current events are. I might go into that. Now, if I go into the hard hitting news and the kind of stuff that they don't like, and I mean for your channel, I'm not going to go into detail about that here, obviously, because I'm not going to get you in trouble or anything. But on the YouTube side, I'm probably just going to talk more about the philosophy. If some poor kid who's majoring in communications at Media Matters is watching me, their head's really just going to spin, and they're not even going to know what they're listening to, I'm afraid.
Right.
So I'm probably going to stick more with the philosophy that does have to do with the current events on the YouTube side, and then maybe just be a bit of a goof here and there. I'm going to try to keep it positive too. That's a real. I mean, that's something that we kind of all need.
I like humor. I like to try to put in humor in most anything I do, whether I'm being serious or not. I still try to make you shake your head and giggle when you walk away from it, if at all possible. I mainly prefer to confuse people, if at all possible. Uh, that's why when sometimes I present channels that has no idea who the hell I am, and I'll tell everybody that finds it to go tell them Sasquatch sent you, mainly to confuse them. They don't know me. It's brilliant. I think I enjoy it, especially when they finally figure out who I am. That's even better. And we got a whole bunch of people up in here in chat. Let's everything just redid all at once. So we're gonna back up from the top because I just got it all in at once. Okay, we got me testing absolutely everything. Swiss Miz has got the gold. She's a mod. Does that count? We're gonna give her the gold tonight. She gets the gold tonight, folks. Swiss Miz has got the gold. Workline has the silver, and American Justice of Texas gets the bronze. Welcome to the show, folks. And then, okay, they bantered back and forth for a while. We got Princess OPD. By the way, her cat is 17 years old, just so you know. Mid South Sasquatch, good to see you, brother. Daily Dan's The Good Stuff is in the house. It's good to see you. Greetings from South Carolina with greetings from Georgia. And where are you, Ohio? Or one of them? Missouri? Where's that? I don't even know. Never mind. Um, we got Bernie Sanchez, isn't that right? I think that's what she was. Anyway, we got Bernie in here. It's good to see you. Good to see each and every one of you like a brother and a sister. You know. All right. Well, there's a new guru in here as well. That is cool. He's being efficient as all get out. Look at the level of efficiency this person has brought to my chat. I'm proud of you, brother. That really puts it right down on it. One chat, bam, everybody is greeted. We can move on to the next section of the conversation. That's efficiency. I love it. All right. South Alabama Cop Watch just walked in the room. Can't miss him. Can't miss him. All right. So you basically got your hand slapped for going into the cookie jar for disagreeing with the mainstream narrative topic. Actually,
Yep. And
no, let me disagree with that for a second. You got your hand cut off for going in the cookie jar.
yeah, actually, that's weird. I mean, they're all progressive, everything. They went straight back to medieval Middle Eastern Europe type punishment.
Right?
But I even reached for the cookie that they told me was okay to reach for, and it got whacked off. So yeah, I think I wouldn't say I fell for the trap. I kind of knew that they're going to do it, and I'm like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. So I feel like it's my duty as a citizen. And I, read up on the Constitution and all this stuff, and it said to the citizens, "This is on you. You got to maintain it." And I'm like, "How?" Yep.
Yep. All right. So I got the little spoon question. So I want everybody who comes into chat to go up to the top and look at that their poll. I want to know: are you the big spoon or the little spoon? I am a little spoon. Everybody likes to cuddle with me. My man over here, he apparently is the disruptor spoon that messes up your dishwasher, the one that got stuck down in the bottom, got all screwed up. We got for public safety in the house. Good to see you, brother. I was checking out his channel a couple days ago. He's really having it out with some CPS folks over there, DFACs or whatever you call them there. Those people that take people's children without doing due process at all. That is ridiculous, man. That stuff makes me so mad. Because everybody
that is about
visually.
That is about the worst side of government abuse there is.
Yeah.
And
it's a classic story too. It's exactly what happens to every couple who has a kid and then split up. One of them decides to utilize lawfare with the government at their beck and call, and the other one tries to say, "Look, they're being an asshole. There's no point in y'all doing this stuff." But it falls on deaf ears. The first one to call is always right. The first report is honest. For whatever reason, they believe that crap.
Yep, and we have gotten a little bit more of the restoration of fathers' rights. I have seen a little more pressure from both sides from that. What I'm afraid, though, is now it's just going to start messing over both people, instead of fixing anything.
Yeah. Well, I would rather it mess us both up equally rather than having the issue of having to decide which way to believe, right?
Yeah, because if we all start,
I don't care about the parents so much. But that's part of it. You have to get to the source of the problem, and usually there is a single individual or possibly a group of people that create the problems. And if you can figure out who they are, you can it's like cutting the Gordian knot. There's no longer any argument. There's no longer any squeaky wheels. People go where they're supposed to be and they stay there,
Yeah.
But that's what happens anytime you get the government involved with anything. They just ruin everything and say it's your fault.
Yep. There are some times that, man, I've seen, I knew some people that like they were going to college. Nicest people, two people you could ever meet. They got along. No indicators that they would ever need to split up or whatever. They got kids and everything. After about 15 years, man, I mean, they just were not two compatible people. I mean, they did everything by, what you would call by the book or whatever. But the only thing I think that is their saving grace is neither one of them are the kind of people that would want to mess over the other. So they're willing to work with each other. And I'm like, humans are humans. And that's why we've got things like they're not going to always be together. But if both parties could understand that, hey, this is about the kid and work like that, that's really the only thing that's going to eliminate 99% of those problems, it seems like.
That's what has to happen. But that's not what happens. Invariably, it seems like there is some childish shrew that's running around with the clipboard trying to decide who's good people and who's not. And they spend time on the phone with a guy that's sitting around in a wife beater with his freaking tattoos hanging out, talking on the phone, but then goes and shows up at somebody's house all unexpected and seem to believe that people know you're coming, right? So they're all prepped for you and stuff. Man, you realize sometimes when I was a kid, there were times when I was covered in mud from head to toe from 3 days of camping in the river valley down there. I was absolutely filthy. And if anybody had showed up at that point in time, there's no telling what they might have thought. But I live in a swamp, so how do you keep a kid clean? You just
Oh, yeah.
don't hose
Yeah.
them down and hope for the best.
I even thought when I was a kid, when I had my machete and a scabbard on, allegedly, had a machete and a scabbard on my back, and I'm 9 years old and I'm hanging off the second story balcony. I'm like, if somebody had showed up, yeah, same deal. I'd have gotten myself in a whole world of trouble.
All right, brother. I got something I brought in special for everybody in the chat. I was kind of waiting for some folks to get in to show it. I've been brought to my attention this channel that has distinct early Dennis Miller vibes to me. It's not as polished, not as complete, but it's got a really excellent flat tonal delivery that is out of this world. And I think y'all would really enjoy the content. Y'all go check out what he's been doing over the past couple of weeks. I'm going to drop his link in chat right after the video. So check this out. I'm going to do about 10 minutes. I got 3 spots specifically picked out. I'm going to try to hit them. And it'll be about 8 minutes of him jabbering, but you'll get the idea of what I'm talking about, how he sets up and delivers and zing and sets up and delivers and zing. It's like a comedy show, but I think he's serious. I don't think any of this crap's supposed to be funny to him, right? But his name is Captain Curmudgeon. Hey, Tennessee Bushcraft. Good to see you, brother. Mama Noel, good to see you. We're going to let this roll for a minute.
Surprise move. Marvel Comics announced earlier this week that it plans to debut a new superhero who is a white male heterosexual. After over a decade in which the company is focused on introducing characters meant to appeal to specific intersectional identity groups, Marvel fans were taken aback by this stunning and frankly unexpected announcement, with some saying they worry that the normalization of white male superheroes who like girls might set back decades of hard-won social progress and cause a resurgence of large-scale organized white supremacy. I was so triggered I accidentally got my nose ring caught on my vape pen, said Marvel superfan X Exon, a 28-year-old student and part-time internet model who identifies as a genderqueer transdimensional unicorn fairy and uses they-them pronouns. A white male superhero who's not even gay? What does that say to the rest of us? What does it say to people in marginalized community? That our existence doesn't matter? That our only purpose is to be saved from danger by some blonde-haired, blue-eyed ubermensch? I really can't help weeping for the moral condition of our country when things like this happen. President and semi-animated cadaver Joe Biden was called back to the White House from his basement in Delaware to give remarks on the crisis, in which he urged Americans not to surrender to any violent impulses and to only burn down cities if it's absolutely necessary. At least that's what we think he said, since the Biden to English translator was homesick with COVID. Meanwhile, over on Twitter, BLM and Antifa, having either missed the president's remarks or just chosen to ignore them, quickly hatched a plot to burn down Marvel headquarters, kill everyone.
All right, so you get the idea of how he kind of goes at it, and he does that for 20 minutes straight, 5 or 7 times a week sometimes, and I have no idea how he manages to keep up the gusto, but it's constant. It doesn't stop. I mean, let's go say, what was it? Like 12. I think it was 12:37. We're going to pick it up 12 minutes later. My man hasn't even taken a breath.
Very much of a reach, frankly. This is the same girl who had no idea what a garbage disposal was and then made a video about it and then blasted the video out to her 3 million social media followers. When a person does that, I feel like I am within my rights to underestimate their intellect. And I guess since we're talking about unfathomable stupidity, that makes a fitting segue into something else I want to mention tonight, but I guess it's something that does tie back into the topic of the Supreme Court in some bizarre way, and that is the antics of Mr. Rex Chapman, a guy whom I vaguely remember as a backup player in the NBA many, many years ago, and it must have been a lot of years because it's been a hell of a long time since I paid any attention to that league whatsoever. I'm not sure exactly what he does for a living currently. He seems to be one of the, which is a fact about the world.
All right. Well, anyway, he pretty much goes on and on. Like, it just, he has an amazing turn of phrase. He has a gift of gab that really tickles my pickle, if you know what I'm saying. He says things that I would like to say, but I don't have the eloquence to quite get it out. I mean, he's ticklish. He tickles me. There's 50 videos back to back to back to back that are about current events that he's put up that were done on like a daily basis. It's like your midnight news channel. He pops up, he premieres every night at midnight or every other night at midnight. And there's maybe 20 people that show up and chat, and nobody ever chats. I'd like to chat bomb him some night. I think it'd be fun. I'm not sure he'd know how to deal with it.
Yeah, that's a dude with some supreme confidence that doesn't even come from, any place of like an ego or anything. That's just a natural right
Yeah,
there.
he's a natural all day long. Yeah. I would love to get him in studio and have a nice talk with him. I bet you he's like a really reasonable person in person, but he's got opinions, and this is how he gets them out. I mean, I think it's great. I like his set. I like the whole thing he's got going on here. It's a neat channel.
He's the guy that if you're the one who decides your opinion is that puppies are evil and you want the public to somehow not hit you, you get this guy to deliver it.
Well, I mean, he has some pretty unpopular opinions if the mainstream narrative is to be believed. But at the same time, I think it's funny regardless of whether he's right or not. It strikes me as humorous, right? And that's my main tickle point is something's got to be funny on some level, or just excellent on some level. And his delivery is excellent.
Yeah.
If he'd flip his narrative, if he'd go from the other way, he'd be on CNN in a month.
Yeah, big time. Well, the problem is if he went the other way, he wouldn't be what he is.
Hey, Snarkasass, welcome to the show. Sorry I missed you. I wasn't watching chat. I'm sorry. I'm a bad Sasquatch. Go ahead.
The one guy on the left who had that kind of natural skill was Bill Maher, and look at him now.
He's not so far left anymore, is he?
No, he was even kind of forced to come around.
He got left.
Yeah. Bill Maher back in the day gave me a look at my own opinions in a way I could laugh at it.
Right.
And if I had trouble laughing at myself, that's when I was like, all right, I got to stick up to Keister.
Yeah, how close is he to 100 subs? Last time I checked, he had like 92, I think. Where are we at? 97 subs. I ought to be able to poke him over 100, at least a little bit, unless y'all have already all been tipped off to him. Anyway, the video is going to stay up later, and I'm going to link Ozark Yeoman's new channel and his channel and Mexican Longhair's channel because we have a new installment of the mustachioed one coming in. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to mute this and let it play for a little while. I got permission to use some of this dude's stuff in shorts. I'm going to do some reaction shorts with it because he's got some real gravy bits in there, some excellent little clips. But I mean, he's got the content behind it too. He's got like freaking months and months and months of content back there. He's like 6 or 7 months. He's been uploading almost every day, every other day. It's pretty amazing. I mean, just I didn't see. I didn't know whether it was a bunch of old stuff that he had done that he was re-uploading from a previous channel or something, or what. But he's in his premieres. He's there to talk if you want to go chat with him. Although not very many people actually chatting his live. I don't guess anybody with 100 subs has a whole bunch of people in a premiere. But 17, 18, just about every single time he comes on. So that's yeah, Bill Maher evolved into an elite. Yeah, he took the blue pill, is what it come down to. But it's starting to come back up on him.
Well, there's an interesting phenomenon about that. And the last point I was going to make about this guy is I can not that I could relate. I'm obviously we're all different, unique, whatever. Like I think this guy has found a creative outlet.
Right.
And I think sometimes like some writers are brilliant and it just all hits them at once and then they have a year of writer's block. I think this guy's just got a creative hammer where he's just hitting it out of the park one right after the other.
Oh yeah, no, I mean his banter delivery and all of that is it strikes me, like I said, a very a soft mix of a soft Dennis Leary with a strong helping of Dennis Miller. His references, the way he drops the references kind of backhandedly, I don't know. I never could quite figure out how to do that. But very much like Soph. You remember how Soph used to deliver stuff? He's got that same banter, that same meter and rhythm. It's pretty good. I really dig it. I've been watching his stuff for the past 3 or 4 weeks since I got tipped off to him, and I've managed to get an email to him, although I hadn't got a response yet. So y'all go check him out. Tell him Sasquatch sent you. That's how that works. Let me get that freaking link. Do you ever do any public events of any type, bro? One more sub away, bro. How about that? That's pretty good. I like that. That makes me happy. Let's get this here. Oh, she already done it. She's way ahead of that. Oh my God, I don't even know why I'm talking like this. We know Cheese done did that. Then we have the magnificent mustachioed. You familiar with this guy? Oh, he's busy. Anyway, this is the mustachioed long hair, and he is out basically snooping around and stalking various YouTubers out there, mostly auditors. Yeah, no, you're totally on the job, Swiss. I knew good and well I shouldn't ought to be wondering about nothing like that. And by the way, I believe Shasta Valley Outdoorsman is currently live, or was a few minutes ago. If anybody cares, just putting it out there. We're gonna let him tell us what we need to learn about FTP. I think. Who is it? Flex Your Freedoms. So he's fixing to expose Flex Your Freedoms like a bad Cheeto.
Mustachioed long hair here, and it's been a grueling past week to try to get to the bottom of Flex Your Freedom's secret. And I'm here to tell you proudly that all the answers are right here in my hand. Now, the final pieces of the puzzle have finally come into focus, Flex. Hope you enjoy this one. Here's Flex's...
Hello, Steve Navarrete. Welcome to the show. You're new. Haven't seen you before. Everybody give him a big old hi.
Flexed muscles there. He's got a lot of muscles, see? That's part of the puzzle. This is an artist's rendition of an eyewitness account. Now, if you look here on his channel, he's got another person that takes over his channel. That's Grandma, right? With the lipstick and the curly hair and the moo-moos, the whole bit. Looks exactly like Grandma, right? And then a couple of logos I found just laying around the old studio there. C and an I. Now, if you couple those with the first clue that I presented to you all, the A, that's CIA. And that led me to the stunning conclusion here, folks. Flex is actually Nick Fury, right? Secret CIA agent, secret SHIELD agent, right? You guys have seen those movies with Nick Fury. Now, if
Oh,
you're
my
wondering,
monkeys.
well, Flex
Oh.
doesn't have an eye patch and he doesn't have a scar across his eye. Now, if you remember, he's a master of disguise, so don't let that fool you. The truth is out, Flex. And I hope everybody goes to your channel and lets you know that I found you and I found out your secret. I mean, look at it. Scar, eye patch, the whole works. His Nick Fury was right in front of our face the entire time. I can't believe that nobody else found this out. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let Flex Your Freedoms know that the mustachioed said that he outed his Nick Fury facade here. So anyways, I'm out. Later, everybody.
That is glorious. I love those things. They're fantastic. Oh Lord. It's greatness.
And then there was another nugget I think that even he missed though. Did you see the Illuminati font style on the C and the I?
That's too much, dude. That's good. Dude, you really need an alter ego. You need to go hang out with MLH for a little while. He'll have you one in no time. You'll be mustachioed yeoman. I got you some glasses if you decide to go that route. We can straight do this, man. This is a doable thing. I got a few
Yeah.
sets. Yeah.
That was part of it when I went through the MK. I mean, when I went to school.
That's right. That project. I mean, oh God, I don't even know what I was trying to say. I just lost. So.
Yeah, das ist ein gut. I mean, yeah, that was a pretty good, you know.
Easy there. Woo. Whoa. All right. So, where else are we going with this? We pretty well cover everything. We got everything pretty well covered.
Yep, like the log pile before the rainstorm.
There you go. You got to keep it dry. You got to keep your powder dry. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to do my little artificial play out that I got. It's not even real. Don't run off because I'm gonna drop the link in chat and let everybody do that thing. Thanks, Steve. That's cool. I don't know. I've never seen you before, so I don't know what you do, but I will be coming and checking out your channel. I hope it's really, really cool. I don't really care if it ain't though. I'll still watch some stuff. I'm interested in absolutely everything. I got this one guy who does diecast cars. I've been talking to him for about 3 weeks. He still thinks I'm like trolling him, that I don't want to talk to him about the channel, that I want to try to poof and surprise some other stuff. I don't care. I don't give a damn. I figure eventually somebody I've interviewed will commit a multiple murder, go viral, and I'll ride with them. Whatever. Something like that'll happen. So we're just trying to cover different communities. We're trying to get different people from different walks of life into different chat rooms in different ways. That's all we're trying to do here. I want to try to help you make the best content you can make. You need some sound. If you got some sound problems and some OBS issues, some editing problems, whatever, I'll try to help any way I can. I do that for all my previous guests willing to come by and have a chat with me.
This is the quick trip of the YouTube live streams.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've already talked to Ozark Yeoman. I just wanted to let everybody know he's got a new channel. He's still out there making content. and we all still love him. You know, old friends, new channels. That's the way that works. So that's what we try to do, is mix it all up. You do ghost sessions and UFO videos, fantastic. I love that stuff, man. That's great. Okay, well, I don't really care because there's this funny feature in YouTube. Someone who's made a video can copyright claim what you do, and they get all the revenue from it. And you don't even have to worry yourself about any of that. And I don't appeal copyright claims usually. I just give it to them. Unless I know specifically who's specifically supposed to be claiming it, and then I'll appeal until the right person claims it. But beyond that, I've had a couple of previous Bigfoot hunters in here. I've had Bigfoot Anon. He hunts down in South Florida. I've had officially Forest of Monsters. He hunts in Tennessee. I've had Harry Nuts. He's not a Bigfoot hunter, but he's wandering around the countryside out there, and you might be able to find him. And that's not a joke. I'm dead serious. He's a bald guy. And he's out there somewhere. The TSA doesn't like him. Hey, Alpine, welcome to the show. It's good to see you, darling. John Eagle, sorry I missed you. For some reason that popped up a little late. That was weird. But okay. Getting some kind of glitchy over here, I guess. I don't know. But I'm going to do a little play out, and then I'm going to come back with the whole dropping links and stuff. But listen, fair warning. Fair warning. If I don't see your face, if I don't know you, I'm not coming up here. I'm not doing it. We're not playing that game. In fact, no one's going to be seen anyway, so you can make whatever noises you like. Because I'm going to try to do this whole filming while live and having a conversation thing. We'll see how this works. And if it works, fine, I'll keep it. If it don't, I won't ever do it again. You know, we got to try things, right? Let's do this thing. That thing. He does got large foots. Do got large foots. That's true. Skadoosh. Post. Gonna do this thing. Replace the message. That should pop up there in a second. And then I'm going to undo this. It is so many little moving parts in here, man. It is ridiculous. Right? Okay. All right. So you were wanting to do a conversation in general about basically Viking or Norse heritage in general, or do you have a specific saga that you like to follow? I think we lost him again. That is
No, I'm right here. You talking to me?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking directly to you. And this is going to
Yes,
get more difficult because we won't be able to actually see it. Hey, Harry, notice we were just talking about you. Talking about you.
Wait, I thought you said you were talking about mine. Oh no, you were talking about a person.
Harry Notes just popped up. He says, we were just talking behind your back on Shasta Valley Outdoorsman channel. He's a great guy. Yeah, Shasta Valley is cool. He's really laid back. I mean, really neat guy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ozark. I got distracted by Harry Nuts. You know how I love Harry Nuts.
I was about to say when those pop out in the room, I mean that's pretty self-explanatory right there. Everybody in the room, you know.
You've never met Harry Nuts? You got to see Harry Nuts.
I've seen a few, but that was, you know, until I hit my growth spurt in junior high, and then, you know, in the locker room. And well, anyway,
Harry Nuts is a channel, dude. He does live streams too. They're great.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If you're talking about Norse Viking sagas, the legit ancient ones, there's one Viking. I don't know if he had his own whole saga or if he was just part of the sagas, but there's one called Jarl Håkon. That's how his name, I guess, is pronounced. That dude was kind of the rock star of the Vikings, and you would totally, if you were in the movie playing a Viking, you would be playing Jarl Håkon.
Oh, cool. It's always good to be a king. Jarl. Good to be Jarl.
There was only one reason he was a Jarl and never got to be king, and that's because he couldn't stop from hooking up with all the other Jarl's daughters. So that kind of made them mad.
That's another one of those good to be king moments. Am I behind in the video? I hope not. This is going to be weird. This is very strange. I'm kind of put off by the whole concept. Wait a second. I might be able to get around it. No, it's fine. What I would do is that, make sure nothing else is making any noise, verify that that's working, and yeah, there you go. That should work. You can still hear me, right?
Yep.
I really cannot fix your connection problems, Alpine Gulch. You live in the middle of nowhere. So my question is, do you have a particular saga, a particular story, like one that you know exists that you can point at and be like, "Hey, read that one. It's a good one." I always liked Leif von Erikson's tale. That whole go. Always good.
Leif Erikson is my favorite Viking. He's the dude who made it to North America. He's the guy who, I mean, in the 1960s, they found, well, I won't give it all away, but yeah, that dude was like the total Chad of the Vikings, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. There was a bunch of them. I mean, Bjorn Ironsides was like the Mega Man. I mean, you go look at some of the sagas that he's involved in almost every case, he stood alone at the head of an army and held them off or some crap like that. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, it's true. I couldn't say any one in particular was just the total. Every one of them seemed to kind of have their own, I don't know, thing about them that they just kind of stuck out of the pack in the most absolute way. Yeah, all around, I like Leif Erikson.
yeah, it's a really good one. I mean, it hits all the high spots of Norse tradition without getting bogged down in detail.
Yeah, and I like it because it's a bunch of wild young Germanic dudes that got restless in Europe and then traveled west and found the New World. And then my ancestors were a bunch of restless, wild Germanic dudes who got restless and then left Europe for the New World. I mean,
Yeah. And my people were a bunch of really poor Irish folks that got real poor and then left for the New World. Hey, Belt Loop, I thought you was over there on Shasta Valley Outdoors having you a good old conversation. I could see your mouth moving, but I couldn't tell what you were saying. What's up, John Eagle? Good to see you. You people, we people. That's what my daughter calls me, is you people. She thinks it's offensive. I never really cared. We're starting from scratch on this, folks. Hey, we got somebody else in here. Let's check it out. Who it is? What's up, Belt Loop? Good to see you, brother.
Everything going on?
Scratch on this, folks. Hey, we got somebody else in here. Let's check it out. Going real hardcore.
Hey, good. Everything going on?
Hey, brother, you got to turn off your YouTube.
I'm a little slow at times, but
Yeah, it happens. I'm going to take over the whole screen, and we're just going to chit chat for a while. You good with that?
oh yeah,
Okay. I'm just filming some crap for game footage later.
yeah. Ain't nobody want to see this ugly mug anyhow.
Yeah, I'm sure what's coming. We'll see.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. We was over there. I went over and joined somebody's stream, and then all of a sudden, he disappeared. So I just chatted for a little while.
Yeah, it happens. Was that you that did that on Snark and Sasses the other day?
Not
Snark's connection went down midstream. Whoever it was that was up there with her was sitting around chit chatting with folks for a good 30 minutes. He did a great job for somebody that wasn't expecting. There he is, Bigfoot Anon. You want to go hunt Bigfoot? Go talk to that man out there. He's the one, Steve. He's the guy. He's the man. And I definitely want to show Void Cat on my channel live. I want to show everybody that stuff. If I can't do it live, I'll go get a whole bunch of clips. I'll figure it out. I want everybody to see it. It's magnificent. So how much of a Viking am I?
Otis, be quiet.
Your dog's name is Otis. Does he drink?
No, although that would be kind of cute if it was. Otis from Andy Griffith and everything.
Eagle named Otis that was renowned for getting his head stuck in moonshine jugs. He was famous for it.
That's cool. Yeah, I got Bell and Otis, and Lodabell's going into heat, so it's driving Otis crazy.
There you go. That ain't no fun at all. It's always a big mess.
He's driving me nuts.
Are you familiar with Ozark Yeoman? You ever met him?
I don't think I have.
All right. Well, he does a general, like, or he used to do a current events kind of thing. He's probably one of the more vocal individuals on, like, not so much political commentary as it is the state that brought us to this point. Like, what was it you were calling it? Modern mercantilism, modern feudal mercantilism. I can't remember how you put it.
Yeah, I talked about basically the revival of old mercantilism, the fusion of government and capital, and basically philosophy, and how it pertains to society today.
Right. And I'm going to drag him in to come have some conversation about some Viking epics and some maybe some old westerns too. We'll see. That's the plan. What's your particular favorite mythos? Mr. Luke.
I really do like the Viking, but if I had to pick one, it might be the Greek. And that's probably just because I was introduced to it so much, sort of early on. But I like, the myths and legends of peoples. It's to me, it's entertaining and interesting.
Yeah, I like the stories. They're like parables, right?
Yeah.
Some are cautionary tales, some are warnings. Some they're often quite dark and often have been anglicized to make it more palatable to the English reader. So when you get a rough translation, it's sometimes quite different from the polished English translation.
I know they did that a lot with religion too.
Yeah, it's all polished up, made good for the people. You gotta keep the taste down. You can't have no bitter aftertaste with your religion. But I generally don't try to speak religion in general on the channel.
Sure, I'm not trying to bring it up. I just something that's it just reminded me about how Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas. And
My
everything.
theory on Christmas is: you ever wonder why it's white, red, and green?
No, not really.
Don't know. All right. So the white is the snow of the winter solstice. The green are the trees of the evergreens, the green needles, and the red is the blood on the snow from the sacrifice.
Okay,
That's
makes
the pagan origins.
I guess I always thought the red was for the berries of the what is that?
Right. That was well, the holly is yeah, right. The holly is an evergreen, and it's one of the very few broadleaf evergreens north of the freeze line, and so it was particularly esteemed. And since you can't necessarily be spraying blood all over the inside of your house, you brought in the holly berries to represent the blood of the sacrifice, and the thorns to represent the sacrifice itself. So you went white, green, and red yet again.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
It's a little unnerving when you think about it, because you got this big sacrifice icon climbing down the chimney every year.
Yeah. And I know in Vikings, didn't they have a thing like every 8 years or something like that where they had human sacrifices?
Yeah, the thing in Uppsala.
Yeah, in Uppsala.
And it's just called the thing. They didn't have a real particular name for it. Just the thing. Which I always thought
that's where we get our word meeting. It comes sometimes it would be called a moot, like the point is moot. In other words, it's been brought up at the meeting, and a moot ting was the meeting. And that's why to this day our official gatherings are called that.
I'm gonna stay in here, but I'm gonna step in another room for just a second. My wife wants my attention for something, and if she ain't happy, it makes it harder for me to be happy.
That's true.
So I'll be right back. I ain't gonna be gone for long. Besides, you can't see me in here.
All right. I think that's right. I'm one of those crazy people that flies through all my games. So, like, if it's not, did they just put it back? I bet they did.
I'm sorry about that. I'm back now.
Really?
My wife wanted me to see where my niece had cleaned up. She reorganized one of our shelves.
I bet that was great. I bet that was great.
Well, she's been staying over here with us a pretty good bit lately. Her it's kind of a sad story, I reckon. I'm not trying to bring anybody down, but she's technically my great niece, but her sister passed away a little over a month ago, and her sister was like 22 months old and not quite 2 years old. Saddest thing you ever saw for a 22-month-old child. But her mom has been, keeping her over here a pretty good bit, just to, because she got her own thing going, dealing with it, and anyhow, we just try to do for others, and that's family. You got to do for family.
Oh, yeah, you do. Even adopted family.
You're right. I'm gonna let the dog out. Come on, I'm gonna force him to go out because, like I said, Little Bell's in heat. Come on, Little Bell.
I guess you can spray blood all over your house if you want to, but I advise against it. It's hell to clean up, man. Although I do know a few people. They could probably help you out with that part. Or try.
Well, the whole spraying blood around the house too, that was for the sacrifice. There must have been some common root with the ancient Hebrews too, because in the Old Testament, when it says "purge me with hyssop," the priest would take hay, which was the hyssop, dip it in the blood of the cow sacrifice, and sprinkle it all over everything. They actually apparently had the same practice.
Ain't nothing happened to ATL. Drop your link. Say hey to everybody. We got Belt Loop and we got Ozark Yeoman in here. Run over to Ozark Yeoman's channel and resubscribe to him. They deuced his channel out. He's trying to get back started again. Hoping to get him crunk up real good. Try to get Belt Loop going too. How many subs you get? You were pretty successful with your how to speak Southern stuff. That was good stuff, dude. I went through a pretty good bit of it. It's solid.
Well, I liked it. I've done, there was a few of them did pretty well. I think some of them got anywhere from 12 to 3,000 views, I reckon, something like that. And most of them, though, just got 12, 15, something like that.
Yeah, it's weird. Hey, it's guilty as hell. Welcome to the show, brother. Brethren or sisterin or whatever you might be. There he is, right there. Bam. You are now immortalized as part of the feed.
There we go.
That's how we make them real. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. Just stand here and dance forever? Okay.
I don't know. Is this another video game?
Yeah, it's a video game. I'm doing some footage on it to try to. I'm going to do an audio book of some of the Norse legends, and I'm going to use some of this as the visuals for it.
Cool.
So it doesn't matter that we're talking over it or nothing. All that really matters is that the visuals are pretty clean.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, I do like the Norse legend. The fact is, a lot of these shows that's out there right now, The Last Kingdom, Vikings, that type of thing.
Yep.
I've watched all them, and I've noticed you got a lot of folks out there these days also doing a lot of even channels, I guess. You like Thorhaven Farm. He has like a homestead thing. That's mostly what I watch, I guess. That's my number one subject matter, I guess. Not his channel, mind you, but homesteading, gardening, that type of thing.
That makes sense. I mean, if that's the kind of thing you're into, that's the kind of stuff you'd be watching.
Well, Before 2020, I'd never planted anything. But the way things are going out here right now, it got me a little concerned. And I think that it never hurts to develop a new skill. And knowledge can be turned into skill if you put it into practice. And my knowledge was severely lacking. So I learned, and I've started putting it into practice and trying to show other people how to do the
Welcome to the show, brother. Good to see you. Got MVTV, Montana Vigilante TV News. Well, I don't know. It's not news. It's just MVTV, Montana Vigilante TV. Look.
Cool.
Ozark's channel link is coming up. 2 seconds there, bro. What's funny, is like searching your old channel brings up your new channel. Hilarious.
That's good.
That is. That's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that. I figured your search term would be removed from the algorithm entirely to prevent just this type of thing.
I think I was too insignificant and too small potatoes. My brilliant strategy of never promoting myself, I think, worked and kept me under the radar.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You got to see your name. I've got a backup plan. I may have mentioned it to you, but I'm not really at liberty to discuss it right now because it's just too YouTube. It's too much ego involved with it.
There's a 20-year-old at Media Matters right now that's very upset you didn't tell that plan.
I'm sure he is. He's at his wit's end. Oh, right. Oh, cool. Daily Dan's The Good Stuff has already commented on The Adventures of Robinson Crusoe Part 1, and the Part 2 on that's coming out tomorrow night. Anybody's interested? It'll be, I think, at 9 o'clock, I think is when it is. Yeah, he got purged by YouTube. That's exactly what happened. He had an opinion. They can't have that.
Yeah, I can't type in chat there or whatever, but yep, what I literally did was the actual strikes was I quoted the news and then I fact checked the news. I mean, I did provide sources and show facts and all that, but they claim it violated terms of service. I didn't actually violate terms of service, but I mean, you know how that goes. But it's not anything I was too upset about. I figured it would happen eventually.
Yeah, Swiss Miss is currently wrapped up by a big storm. She'll be in and out as she has connection. Here, it's calm as it can be here, brother. How's it there, Beltlick? You guys
it was raining earlier, but it's been, I think it was raining. Yeah, it was raining. In fact, I even posted a short on the rain. It was coming down okay. It wasn't too hard. We've been getting rain here, seems like every other day or so, pretty regularly. I know a lot of folks is in current droughts.
Yeah, it's been kind of hit and miss out here. But day before yesterday, we got a show enough lighter stump floater for about 3 hours. It rained pretty good. Overflowed my aquaponics system.
Wow.
No, I got it designed to do that. I don't generally add water to it. If it don't rain enough, it generally don't add water added to it. So it basically counts on rain, but it rains enough here. It's not a big deal.
You had mentioned that the other day, aquaponics. It's to me, it's such a cool system, but there's just so little known about it. I mean, as far as most people.
Right.
It seems like everybody'd be doing that, or should be.
It takes a little bit of doing. It's kind of water heavy if you're not very skilled at plumbing. I hand built everything I've got for the most part. The only thing I didn't build really is my pump, my heater, everything. Well, my air pump as well. Everything else I built out of an ace.
It takes a lot of skill.
Determination. I'm terrible plumber. More determination than anything else. I just broke it until I did it in a way that didn't break.
I learned a little bit about how that works watching Trailer Park Boys. I mean, documentary.
Yeah, that's actual real life there, buddy. That's full on documentary on exactly how to go about doing all those things they do. I love Trailer Park Boys. They're so funny to me.
Yeah.
And the reason is I kind of halfway grew up in a trailer park visiting some friends of mine, and I know all of those people in that trailer park. You know what I mean? Like, I got Trailer Park Boys, and it's those people. You got
Oh
the
yeah,
kids
me too.
in the streets. You got the whole nine. They're all there. That one white
Yep,
kid who's a drug dealer. All of them.
Oh yeah, I literally I lived in a few trailer parks and it was like that. Even the nicer ones I was in, we had a 19-year-old drug dealer across the street thought he was being clever by walking out all day in a wife beater with somebody pulled up in the driveway off and on 20 times a day, and he thinks that nobody knows what's going on across the street.
Right. Oh no, they all left me. Now where am I supposed to go? I gotta go sit in the big chair. Now that I'm seated. Go ahead.
And thanks, ATL. I saw that in the comments.
Yeah, buddy. We actually have a really good community over here. I've been tooling around in some other channels about this size, and some of them are more full of people, but there's so much hatred and vitriol flying back and forth. I'd just rather not be involved, And then you have other channels where you got a double handful of people watching and nobody comment. They may have some other, social media they use for their chat, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. Looks kind of body to me. There's some channels I just won't mess with.
I've noticed that. I think typically you run into, there's two kinds of people. In my experience, there's those that ain't happy unless they got something to complain about, and there's those that choose to be happy on a daily basis anyhow.
Right. I'm going to smile. I don't care what's going on.
Life's too short.
Yep. I will be laughing at you or at me, but I will be laughing.
If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
Everyone else.
I like that too, but
yep.
I prefer to be able to laugh at my own self too.
Well, that's where I start. I start by laughing at myself every time I wake up and look in the mirror.
Well, it's important to be able to look at yourself in the mirror too. So
there you go.
Yep. I used to look at myself in the mirror, but for some reason there's more and more of a glare off the top of my head these days. Don't know why.
Oh, that's the experience showing through, bud. That's all the wisdom shining through. That's all that is.
I think it's a halo. Yeah.
Something like
well,
that.
You know what they say about a fella that's bald in the front of his head or the fella that's bald in the back of his head, right?
No idea.
If he's bald in the front of his head, he's a thinker. If he's bald in the back of his head, he's a lover. If he's bald in both, he just thinks he's a lover.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that. Pretty sharp. What about a widow's peak? What does that say? Have you got a mohawk? Any idea there?
No, but I know that I've had a mohawk twice, I guess, in my life.
That's worth a film.
Well, what was funny is we were down at Orange Beach, I guess it was, in Alabama, and I think that's in Alabama. Anyhow, we had rented a place out on, a house out on the beach, and I had brought my clippers along, and I was just trying to trim up my hair, which I've done for 20 or 30 years. And I accidentally bit a little bit much into it. And my nephew was there and he said, well, let me just give you a mohawk. So I said, okay. And he gave me a mohawk. Then when I went over to visit my brother and he had some young kids, and he had just moved to Mississippi from Texas. You know, one of his kids came out and was walking down the hallway, saw me, turned around, ran back. I reckon I ain't too pretty to look at. I reckon.
Big, scary, hairy motherfucker. I like folks flinch away from me all the time.
Yep. I tell you what, haircut makes a difference because when I finally decided to not really whack it all off, but I did, what is it, a 3 millimeter? Don't renounce my American citizenship for saying metric, but that was the measurement on the,
No. I got news for all of our European allies out there. America has started using the metric system. We just use it to measure our bullets.
Yeah. Well, we're rebels, so now we have to rebel against what we were rebelling.
Yeah, we rebel against our rebelling revelry.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I guess I hadn't thought about it, but I do have 3 millimeters, 3 millimeters, or 3 9 millimeters.
Thank you for coming by, Alpine. It's good to see you. I hope you find
our ultimate rebellion is when Europe told us to use the metric system. We used it for ammo.
Right? That's exactly right. The only good purpose for the metric system, measuring bullets.
Yeah, but yeah, I decided to whack it really short all the way over, kind of Jason Statham it, and I noticed as soon as I left the house, people treat you a whole lot.
I didn't realize what that meant. Yeah, no, I can see it. You know, Harry Nuts is bald as a cue ball, right? And they shook him down coming through TSA in like Chicago or something, wherever his layover was. They took him to the little room and investigated his prison pocketbook.
Oh no, maybe I should grow it out again.
I might if I was you. You planning on doing any flying? Maybe get a tan. That might help.
I try to keep what's called a high and tight. I typically just shave the sides and let the top grow a little bit and cut it down when it gets too long.
Yeah, I try to keep mine trimmed too.
Now, you messing with me, I can tell, Sasquatch, because I see you in live stream.
Yeah, that's how you know my lips are moving. This seems like a very desultory sort of game. These people are having a bad go at it.
You know, that scene right there kind of reminds me of the 13th Warrior.
Yeah, no, I love that movie. That's one of my favorites.
I enjoyed it.
It's great. It is actually the 13th Warrior is a retelling of Beowulf.
I guess I did not realize that.
Think about it. If Grendel is the one with the horns of power, and Grendel's mother is the queen under the mountain, and the dragon, the monster that attacks, and when certain things happen, is the fire venom, the cavalry attached to torches.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, I love it. It's based off of a book adapted by Michael. I think it's Michael Crichton. Yeah, it's one of his very few historical writings. He adapted it from the tales of Ibn al-Badid Jafad, which I probably said that wrong, but it's named Eaters of the Dead. And in the book, these other people, these bear people, were Neanderthals or Denisovans or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm part Neanderthal.
I'm sure you are. I can tell by that brow ridge. I think I ain't joking. I'm sorry, brother. I couldn't help it.
Actually, in a literal sense, Northern Europeans have some of the highest Neanderthal DNA. And when you have jet black hair with a Northern European background, it's an expression of higher Neanderthal DNA, apparently.
Fantastic. So we didn't need all of it. Good to know. I got another buddy of mine lives right down the road from me over here. He has one of the most pronounced brow ridges I've ever seen in my life. The man can't get his shoes wet when he's walking in the rain.
Wow.
He goes bald too. He's been bald for 15 years. He just shaves it. He's got hair. He just doesn't bother growing it. Should we let the animus choose? Let's let the animus choose. Random. Yep. We're going random, folks. No idea what's coming out here. Hey, I did something genius, Ozark. This is brilliant. I sat down yesterday or a couple days ago and I put together a character on Fallout 4 and I named her Mary Sue. And then I saved right before I set all the special points. So I can use the same character to do every single Fallout build that there is and go do whatever video I want using the particular build best to do it.
Clever. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
like
same character.
multitasking. It's multi-utilitary.
I don't know.
And we're
It's deep.
having to delve deep in the dictionary for that, but
There's a
that
way
works.
Yeah. That one was thinking ahead. And none of this matters to anybody who doesn't game. I'm sorry. The brain thinks in metric, not the English system. Well, apparently your brain doesn't like spell English very well. Metric is easier to convert from one to the other. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as saying it's easier to use because if you haven't been trained on the metric system, it's just as difficult as trying to learn a new measuring system, which is what it is. Now, it may be more logical to use metric. Who cares about it? We're Americans.
Yeah. Hey, if it wasn't for a spell checker, I'd have never made it through college.
Right. No, I had to tell Miss Bees earlier that because she misspelled her name as Bees with a Z, that I will never spell it right. Because if it's not correct, you're pretty well screwed. That wasn't by my choice.
Anytime I had to write anything in college, I stank with certain spelling, and I always had to keep a dictionary right there next to me.
There you go, brother. We got you up to 15 subs in the past hour.
Yeah. And I also want to say, thanks, Sasquatch. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man, we're going to bring you back on in a couple more weeks and see where you're at there. I got a few other people I can introduce you around to that like to help build, especially deuced out channels,
Yeah.
Against the system kind of thing.
Hey, Sasquatch.
Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask if you were okay if I mentioned 3 channels that might help him.
Oh, yes, sir.
3 people or 3 channels I would highly recommend you go see is going to be Mr. Boots and Bounty. He does a lot of shout outs for folks. If you get there, he does one on Wednesday nights. I can't tell you the time, maybe 5:30, but I'm guessing at that. And he'll go through and highlight certain channels. And a lot of times that helps. He's got a lot of folks in there. It should help you get some. Also, another fellow that does shout outs on a regular basis every Saturday night, I think, is a fellow by the name of Devil Dog. Devil Dog is a former Marine, and he also kind of helps with technical questions about using like StreamYard and what have you. He's also a host on a whole bunch of different programs. I say host, he'll join panels and what have you. And the last one I would typically, comment about would be Tuber Chat. Tuber Chat, if you go on there, he'll, put your name on the board and do some highlighting of you too. So, and I do it as well. But I'm just really starting to do it. So I'm starting to use some of my daytime, live streams to shout out some folks. So, I mean, somebody said they didn't think live stream or shout outs worked, but I've seen people help people build just like Sasquatch. Obviously, Sasquatch is good at that too. So, just something to think about.
Oh, yeah. That's great. I mean, anything to help. When it comes to growing a channel, organic is the best way to go. But and sometimes shout outs and whatnot can backfire because you end up with the wrong group out of that chat, But with the people you're bringing up, there's really not a wrong group in there. They've already kind of filtered some of that out.
So,
Pretty wholesome people. as far as I can tell.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
I
good.
was. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying they're good people. So,
Yeah, I was on YouTube listening for a few years on live streams and stuff before I even really started commenting. And then another year before I made any content, I mean, and then by then, you get to know people, and even then, if you get some of the wrong people, well, some people that if they like what you're doing, they'll stick around and they'll comment.
Right? Once you get people involved, that's really the hardest part is to get people involved. They have to take an interest of their own volition. So either you're going to do some content that's going to get their attention, or you're going to do some content to get someone else's attention that basically brings you up to them. You know, and it's not that hard. It's just it takes effort. You have to do it. You have to put in the effort. Whether it's playing games or changing tires or filming, wild animals or hiking or building a Viking house out in the wilderness or just talking about what happened during your day. You kind of have to just stick with it and do what you particularly enjoy doing, because it will show in the end uh, in your ability to actually attract viewers. Because if you enjoy what you do, they will watch. Rule 34. That was fun. I'm gonna do that again. Oh, that didn't work. Yep. That's so silly.
I remember doing a move like that 14 years ago.
Right. No, I was just thinking there was this one time where I jumped out of a chick's window that was on the second floor, and I jumped out head first and rolled with it, came out with no injury at all. And I just considered if I tried that crap, I'd pull my gonad.
Well, that's the whole link to the center region and all that down there. That's nature's only way of stopping men from us trying that garbage when we get older, is the risk of that getting injured right there.
The whole hamstring area is freaking tested, son. When I busted my pelvis, that was one of the things that got hyperextended real bad. I couldn't hardly walk for like 6 months, and once I could walk, it was like my hip was just kind of wobbling around in the socket. It wasn't tight enough to hold it together, Or
that sounds painful.
it was bad, dude. It made me a junkie.
I busted my tailbone when I was 20 years old, and I literally had to drag myself to work that night. And after it happened, and yeah, it hurt. It was about a good 6 months after that. It hurt real bad, and it still hurts to this day. It always will. But that was a bit rough.
Yeah, no. Imagine, all right, when I broke my pelvis, I fell through a floor in a trailer that I was demolishing. Right, and I shouldn't have ever stepped up on that floor in the first place, but that was the only angle I could get a hold of the next piece to pull it out. Right? So I stepped up there, shifted my weight. Next thing I know, my ankle is wrapped up around my ear. What got me was how much recovery it took. You know how when you bruised your tailbone or you busted your tailbone pretty good, you got that feeling where you're gonna cry, but you don't, because it's not quite that bad. It just hurts really bad. So you kind of want to cry, but you can't. It was like that all the time.
Well, I could certainly see why somebody would want to use something to relieve that pain.
Oh yeah. But I got news for you. When it comes to opiates and stuff, they don't relieve pain. They just make you not give it.
Well, I don't know what Demerol is, but I know it's good stuff when you got a kidney stone.
That's true. Now, kidney stones is one of those things where I firmly believe that full on, like, Like full on smack should be available to folks with kidney stones, dude. That is an ungodly pain.
Well,
I had kidney stones through my whole hip issue, and occasionally they would outweigh everything immensely.
Yeah, I had where I was working 12 hours a day on my feet doing hard manual labor, and my tailbone acted up because of that. And then I got kidney stones at the same time. And then I had busted my foot. So I had my foot, my tailbone, and kidney stones going on.
Laid
And
up on the side.
yeah, no, and the funny thing is addiction runs in my family. I mean, really bad. And I mean, with absolutely anything. And I could tell I've got that all or nothing kind of personality that I'd be hooked as soon as I tried anything. So I just consumed copious amounts of caffeine. I mean, if caffeine could get you high, I think I pushed the limit, you know. But and then I pop some. I go back and forth between Tylenol and ibuprofen and whatever I could, you know, and that was pretty much the only thing that got me through.
well, I had the first time I had the kidney stone, I was fairly young. I just either was just about to be married or I just gotten married. I was 23 or 24, I guess. And it was just, yeah, I don't have to tell y'all what the pain feels like, but I went up to the doctor and the doctor, I guess they thought my hair was a little bit long at that time, nothing close to Sasquatch's, mind you, but it was a little long. And I guess they thought I was just wanting drugs. So they left me there for hours before they'd even give me anything for it. I was starting to cuss out, nurses and doctors. And I just about ripped a thing off the wall sitting there in pain, that white knuckle gripping pain. It just was not a good. Then they gave me that shot of Demerol. And it was like it all eased up. And I remember saying, I can feel it, but I don't care as much.
Right? That's exactly what it is. It doesn't fix nothing. It just makes you not care anymore.
Yeah. I had a doctor, man, I had come in so many times for kidney pain and all that. I had one doctor, man, they made me wait in the ER and everything. And I think when he finally came in, I think he assumed that I was an addict because I'm really young. He looked at my jacket. He's like, all right. He's like, so it looks like you've had busted foot, kidney stone, tailbone. And he's like, I assume you're here because you want something for pain. And he looked at me. I think he was legit assuming that I was trying to make something up. And I had been making stuff up to get dope, And I said, I want you to fix the problem, whether you got to blast the kidney stone or whatever. I said, but don't give me any dope. I don't want any. I know I would probably be addicted if I did. And I think he was shocked. And he was like, wait a minute, you're actually in pain. I was like, yeah.
Yep. I had a few doctors that took me down there. But, for the most part, they seemed to be perfectly willing just to hand out whatever it was that was available at the time.
If y'all don't mind, I'm fixing myself a cup of coffee.
Yeah, man, I'd love to have a cup of coffee.
Well, I drink coffee up till about 9 o'clock at night. Once it hits 9, I typically cut it off because I want to be able to sleep at night.
It's funny how different people react to it. I will drink right up until caffeine, right up until I go to bed. And there was a time when I was having a little trouble sleeping. I figured, well, it must be the caffeine. So I quit drinking caffeine several hours before bed. Then the only thing that happened was I went to bed with a nasty headache. And I'm like, okay, well, that's just withdrawal. So I completely quit caffeine for days. And it didn't make even once I got past withdrawal, it still didn't make any difference when I was sleeping at night. So I figured out, at least the good news is caffeine doesn't make any difference. They say once I hit my 40s, it might start making a difference.
Hey man, let's do me a favor.
This is Sasquatch here talking.
Hello. Yeah, get you some WD-40, bro. Straighten that shit right up. I'm just joking, dude. I'm just playing.
Sorry, but that hinges, I guess, squeak a little bit.
Yeah, I know how it is, dude. I'm just picking.
Oh, it's all good. I don't even pay attention to it anymore as far as the hinges. It's my living room, my man cave, whatever you want to call it. It's a huge room. And in fact, it's probably 25 by about 25. So it's a pretty large room, but it's on the other end of the house from the bedroom, so Tammy can sleep. And it doesn't usually my late night activities, whatever, chit chatting, everything, doesn't bother her. It's a lot better than we had a house where the TV was on one side of the bedroom wall, on the other side of the bedroom wall, kept her up hours because I've always been a night owl. She's a morning person. With me, it's best not to speak with me in the morning. Typically.
Oh, man. I'm kind of split both ways. I do this weird thing where I'll wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll do some stuff for 5 or 6 hours. I'll crash out for 2 or 3 hours, take me a siesta, get back up and be going till 2 or 3 in the morning again. I don't know, dude. I've been doing it since I got put on night shift many years ago, and I just never switched.
That's cool.
Yep.
Very productive.
Yeah, I've been a night owl and doing that since I was my whole life. Even when they made me get up at 6 in the morning for school and everything, I could not get to sleep at night. I was horrible early in the morning, couldn't get awake. And apparently some people are genetically prone to be that way. I work evening shift, and I've been working evening shift or night shift my entire life because of it.
Yeah.
I know why you can't sleep at night. You can't stop thinking with that big old brain of yours.
There you go. That's a good one to have, I guess.
It's true. I do have some weird ADD type of thing going on and can't stop thinking.
Oh, I know the feeling. At least most of the time. But I tell you what, when I quit paying attention, a lot of that news and political stuff and what have you, I slept a lot better.
Oh yeah, no. You just gotta. One of the things you have to do is get a. Well, actually, I really don't have good advice on this one. The reason is I was a terrible sleeper up until I actually cracked my skull, and next thing I knew, I could sleep through anything. I can go in there right now, lay down, and take me a nap. It ain't even no thing.
Man, I had me a good nap today.
I miss mine.
I stayed up talking on 2 different streams, I guess, till about 3 o'clock this morning. And so I woke up about, about 9 o'clock, I guess, which for me just wasn't a whole lot of sleep. I know that's 6 hours, and a lot of folks can run a lot further on that, but I need my 8 hours of beauty sleep, if you want to call it that. So I had to have me a nap this afternoon. Man, it was glorious.
It's good when they work out.
Yeah, those are like the best types of sleep you ever get right there. When you're just tired enough and you get that nap. When I do sleep, I sleep really good. I mean, I sleep hard and heavy. And the last few years, I've figured out some whatever formula. It may be 2 o'clock in the morning. It may be 4 o'clock in the morning. But my wife doesn't worry about it anymore because I don't lay my head down until I'm mentally and physically exhausted enough. And then I just pass out and I sleep absolutely great. I may only get 5 or 6 hours of sleep, but I've finally just kind of gotten and accepted where I'll rather get 5, 6 hours of really good sleep than if I go to bed tossing and turning. Oh man, it's going to be a rough night,
Yeah.
I won't do it, man. Until I'm ready to crash out, I don't even lay down.
I don't blame you. Whenever I try to force sleep, it just, it's almost like I didn't get any sleep at all.
Right.
Yep. I can induce it. I'll put a phone down. I'll get all technology away. And it was really hard to do, but I even made myself turn off the TV. And reading a book usually is pretty good. There are some certain sections of the Old Testament, if you read it for 10, 15 minutes in dim light, I'm pretty tired after that.
Well, I don't do a whole lot of reading anymore. I have at times, but I tend to watch a lot of YouTube, and sometimes I watch. In fact, there's some folks I have a tendency to just try to help them with their hours, and so I'll go watch their stuff and just put it on. Once you've seen the same video 3 or 4 times, though,
Video twice may not count towards hours. I don't know.
Well, what I've done,
That one.
I deleted my history, and I've paused my history so that whenever I watch something, it's like supposed to be like the first time I watched it.
Oh, that's neat to me.
I don't know how to get to it I don't know how to get to it on my computer, but on my smart TV, I know how to delete it, I think, through the computer, but my smart TV is the only one that will pause the history. I can go down to the library, and there's a spot over there that says history. You can turn off your watch history on the TV.
Right.
And so,
but I haven't really dug into it real hard.
well, I may be doing it wrong, but it seems like it would work that way.
Utterly baffled with what I'm supposed to be doing.
I'm afraid I don't know.
Right? I have no clue. It would probably help if I could hear them. Pretty sure I need to go to that green thing, but I thought I was supposed to follow that guy.
Well, you're making good time.
Apparently. A little unsure. I don't want to go to that glowing spot first. That's what I want to do.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. I like it. Apparently I can't calm down.
All right, well, Sasquatch, I'm gonna have to drop out real quick. I've got some stuff I got to get done.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I had a ton of fun.
Yeah, and
you.
Thank you very, very much, Sasquatch. I appreciate it, and it was great, great meeting
I'll be
you.
back.
A pleasure meeting you.
Same here, and y'all have a great evening.
Deuces. Hold it down, brother.
Yep. God bless.
I guess it's kind of like one of those old world or, things that you can go different places and do different things.
Yeah, it's weird. It seems very strange. I kind of feel like I'm probably going to have to relaunch all of this and do it over again because I kind of feel like I messed a bunch of stuff.
Let's see. I used to play a lot of video games. I say that. There's this one video game called Destiny. I used to play a pretty good bit. But about the time I started playing it pretty good, they came out with Destiny 2, and everybody swapped over to Destiny 2. And I got to looking, I've got almost not quite 3,500 hours playing this game.
That's hardcore, dude. That ain't even no joke.
Well, you can go to this website called Wasted on Destiny, and look up your handle, and it will tell you how many hours you have. I don't think I have quite 3,500. I think I've got close to 1,000 on Destiny and about 2,400 something on Destiny 2. But I even my niece was over here, and I let her borrow my Xbox so she could play whatever she wanted.
Well, I can tell you the game I probably got the most time in is probably Grand Theft Auto, with Red Dead Redemption 2 coming in a really, really close second. I'm like 250th level on Red Dead Redemption.
That sounds like a lot.
Hey, baby, you're not on camera.
I tend to be a little obsessive, and so when I start a game, that tends to be the only thing I focus on.
Right.
And so when I set it down, I really hadn't picked it back up. And Otis, you're gonna have to shut up, or I'm gonna put you outside again and make you stay there this time. I tried to let him back in, but he's misbehaving. He just, I guess Little Belt's just driving him nuts.
I grew up breeding dogs, man. The dog doesn't bother me typically. What bothers me is people yelling at dogs.
Yeah.
That bothers me good.
Well, I try to tell him, but he don't always listen. I love my dogs. I don't reckon I yell at him. I speak a little harshly to him sometimes, just because he keeps on and keeps on and keeps on. Of course, you can't blame the dog for doing that. He's just reacting to the hormones and everything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, some folks, it drives them crazy. Like my wife cannot stand hearing a dog bark. It drives her absolutely batty.
Otis usually has some point to it, though, normally. Unless, if Lulabelle not in heat, though, I mean, normally when he barks, it's because he wants either out, he wants to be fed, he wants water. He'll usually have a point to it. But with her going into heat, she's just, he's just going crazy around here.
I'm gonna take this fire with me. I don't know what good it may serve.
I don't know, but you might need it.
I'm gonna take it to the ship, see if I can burn it. Oh, I never found the thing I was after.
Well, what were you after?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't either. I guess you could just go around and kill everybody there.
Well, I'm after a shield, I think. I'm supposed to be picking up a shield somewhere over here. Wow, the controls on this is really wild.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, they will try if they get you anywhere close, they'll try to.
I did not realize that I'm gonna have to bounce Sasquatch. I didn't realize. I promised my buddy I'd try and check out his live when he came on, and I didn't. I just looked in Devil Dog's on right now.
All right.
I've enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming back.
My pleasure. Man. All right. We'll see you then.
All right, bro. I have currently an email from Captain Curmudgeon. Okay. All right. So he's going to hit me up next time he gets to where he does his show, which is apparently a couple days. And I'm going to die before I manage to answer this. Where'd you go? Where are you at? What in the world? Ow, there you are. That was unfortunate. And I'm dying. I'm dead. That's what happens when you're not paying attention to what you're doing in the game. All right, so we pretty well done with all this. Anybody else want to come up and talk to us? I do believe the link's linked up there. Y'all got about a minute and a half. Pop in, we'll have a talk. Otherwise, I'm gonna dip out and go bother my wife Squatch. Eat me some chicky nuggies and get me some Get Good tablets or whatever. I don't know. I got to figure out how to do this whole game thing. I am not believing that I'm going to be able to sit here and entertain myself while sitting live. This doesn't seem to be a very effective way for me to exchange information. So, I mean, it says there's 4 people in here. I imagine that would be Work Lion, perhaps ATL, and Swiss Miss. I don't know who the other one might be. Oh, it itches. Oh, one more thing. My wife bought me some soaps from Dr. Squatch, and they are fantabulous. And that is just a personal poke from me. I'm going to give them a great Yelp review, let me tell you. All right, folks, y'all have a good evening. Don't let the man get you down.